All right. So hello again, guys. So at this time, everyone, I will now be discussing the lesson 1.1 Introduction to Scratch. Okay, so if you want to follow this Google slide that I will be discussing, you can also open the Google slide from here on your Google Classroom. Okay, I've already posted this one. You can click this lesson 1.1 Introduction to Scratch. So click this and this Google slide will open. Okay, so let's start now, guys, our discussion about Introduction to Scratch. Okay, so I will just present this one so that you can see it bigger. All right, so this lesson is lesson 1.1 Introduction to Scratch. So as you can see here on the screen, Scratch, it is a visual programming environment. Okay, so this is a programming language wherein it is more on visual. Okay, meaning it's more on animation. Okay, so we are going to deal here with animation more. Okay, if you like animation, then we can do it here in Scratch, and at the same time it's also programming. Okay, so next, so first I'll just be here discussing the introduction to Scratch, like what is Scratch. Okay, but before that, let me just show you the contents of this lesson. Okay, so the first one, of course, the introduction for our lesson. Second is a brief history of this Scratch, and then objectives, and then explanation and bibliography. Okay, but we are now going to start with introduction first. Okay, so first, the question that needs to be asked is, what is Scratch? Okay, because Scratch is the one topic that we are going to learn this semester. So what is Scratch? So Scratch is a visual programming environment that makes it easy to create interactive stories, music, games, art, and animations. And you can share those creations online. Okay, you can share it on the web. Okay, so first thing, again, Scratch is a visual programming environment that can be used to create stories. Okay, that's one that you can create in Scratch. You can create stories, animation. Second is you can create music. Okay, music. And the third, you can create games, and then art and animations. Okay, during the whole semester while we are learning this Scratch, you guys will be able to do this stories, music, games, arts, and animations. Okay, you guys will be able to do all of this. Okay, so Scratch presents powerful opportunities for learning. Okay, it presents powerful opportunities for learning. So as people program and share with Scratch, okay, and not just people, it's you guys. So as students, when you are creating the program and sharing your program with Scratch, you will learn to think creatively. Okay, you will learn to think creatively. You will be able to learn to plan systematically, because all the programs, the logic of the program, it has a system, it has a flow, so you will be able to plan systematically. And then you can work collaboratively, so meaning you can work with your classmates, you can work with your group mates. Okay, so some of the activities that I will be giving you for the next lessons will sometimes be by partner, so you will work with your classmate. Okay, and while also learning important computational ideas. Okay, so those are the things that you will improve and learn in this Scratch. Okay, so next, So now I will be discussing here a brief history of Scratch. Okay. So the first version of Scratch was developed by the Lifelong Kindergarten Group, which is led by Mitchell Resnick in 2003. Okay. So Scratch was developed in 2003 by Mitchell Resnick and the Lifelong Kindergarten Group. And where did they develop this Scratch? So they developed it at the MIT Media Lab. Okay, it's a famous school in the US. Okay, so the first official website was originally launched in 2006, which is the Scratch 1.0. Okay, and then the Scratch 1.0 was available to the public for download January 8, 2007. So meaning on January 8, 2007, Scratch was available for everyone. Everyone can download Scratch and can program using Scratch last January 8, 2007. Okay? So another history. So Scratch continued to update their site until late 2012 when they released the Scratch 2.0, okay, which offered many updates to the programming system and website design. So actually, the version that we are going to be using if we install it in our computer is the Scratch 2.0, okay? So that's a brief history about Scratch. Now let's move on. So what is the objectives of the Scratch unit? Why did they created Scratch? So the first objectives is this: introduction to visual programming environment. Okay, so they created Scratch so people can be introduced with visual programming environment. So meaning, as I told you earlier, it will be more on animation because it says here visual. So it's more pleasing with the eyes. And then at the same time, it is a programming. Okay. Next is introduction to programming with multimedia. Okay. So that's another objective of the Scratch. They created Scratch to introduce programming with multimedia, with pictures, okay, with animations. And then here are some other objectives. So storytelling, you can tell stories using the Scratch programming. Music making, okay, you can create music using the Scratch. And the third one is the game making. So meaning you can create games using Scratch programming. So before the end of this semester, you guys will be able to create a games or games using Scratch, okay? Not just a game, but games, multiple games. It's up to you, okay? I'm just here to teach you how to create games using Scratch, okay? So next is introduction to programming concepts, objects and attribute sequence, repetition, conditions, events, and input or output or I/O, okay? So these are the programming concepts that is also can be seen with other programming language. Okay, so meaning if you learn this Scratch programming, it will be easier for you guys to learn other programming language. Okay, you can learn other programming language when you finish learning Scratch. Okay, so that's the objective. Next, we also have secondary objectives for the Scratch. So number one, it can increase the student's skills with computers. Okay, while learning this Scratch, guys, you can also increase your skills with computers. Increase student interest in programming. Okay, if you will like programming, then you can continue pursuing programming. And then student achievement on fun project, because it's up to you guys what project you will be creating on this Scratch. Okay, it's your own idea, so you can create your own fun idea to create a project in Scratch. Okay? Next, you will also learn the Cartesian coordinates, distance computation, and etc. Okay? So later on, I will show you why you will learn Cartesian coordinates in this Scratch. Okay? So now let's start the Scratch and let's go. Okay? So open this link www.scratch.mit.edu and go to option and create. So later on, I will show you this link, okay? But for now, let's discuss this. So if you are in your house, you can download the Scratch application on your computer by going to this link, okay? So these are the instructions on how to download. So click on the cat icon or find the Scratch under programs. Okay, so Scratch programming environment comes up quickly. So now guys, I will be discussing here the major components of Scratch. This is what you will see in Scratch and what you will use in Scratch programming. Okay, so if you open your Scratch programming, at the left side, you will see that the stage with sprites, okay? On the left side, you will see the stage with sprites or objects or actors. That's at the left side. And then at the center, you will see the operation and attributes for the sprites. And then at the right, you will see the scripts or programs for the behavior of the sprites. Okay, so I know that you guys are thinking, what is Sprite? Okay, Sprite is not the soft drink that you will see in 7-Eleven, okay? So Sprite in Scratch is the small graphic feature that can be moved independently around the screen, producing animated effects. Okay? All the small features that you will see inside the Scratch, that is called Sprite, okay? All those moving features, they are called sprite. Okay, later on, I will show you guys what is that sprite. Okay, and we also have to learn blocks. Okay, so what is the meaning of blocks in Scratch? So blocks are puzzle piece shapes that are used to create code in Scratch. So all those puzzle piece shapes that we will see inside the Scratch, those are called blocks. Okay, and we use that blocks to create the program in Scratch. Okay, so later I will show you an example. So programming in Scratch. So in the upper center corner of the Scratch window, you will see 10 buttons. Okay. So there are 10 buttons or 10 categories. Each of these categories have programming blocks in particular areas, okay? We will first experiment with the motion blocks. Okay, so these are the 10 categories that you will see inside your Scratch, okay? This picture or this image that I'm showing you is from the Scratch application in your computer, okay? If you install Scratch in your computer, this is what you will see. The one that I'm showing in the Google Slides. Okay? So we have 10. You can see we have motion, we have looks, we have sound, pen, data, events, control, sensing, operators, and more blocks. Okay, and as you can see, they have different colors. Okay, they have different colors. They have their own colors, right? It's colorful. So next, I'm going to show you guys the real Scratch that we will be using. So let me just go back here. Wait a minute. Okay. So we are now here on this slide. Wait. Okay. All right. So first is the motion blocks. Okay. Motion blocks are the blocks that control the sprite's movement. From the name itself, motion. It's about the movement of your picture, the movement of your sprite. Okay, that's motion blocks. So in motion blocks, there are 17. Okay, there are 17 commands. Okay, in Scratch 2.0. But here in this Google slide, I'm just going to show you guys only two. Okay, I mean, yeah, I'm going to show you these two first, and then later on, I'm going to show you other commands inside the motion. Okay, one example here is this one, move 10 steps. Okay, as you can see, this is like a puzzle piece, right? You can connect them with each other. Okay, you can connect them together. So these move steps, so it moves the sprites forward the amount of steps. So let's say you put here move 20 steps, then your sprite will move 20 steps. Okay, and then if you put move 100 steps, then the sprite will move 100 steps forward. Okay, if you want your sprite to move backward, you have to put here a negative number. For example, move -10. So the sprite will move backwards. Okay, and then this one is go to X and Y. So if you want your sprite to go to a certain position, later on I'm going to show you this X and Y position. Okay, if you want your sprite to go to a specific position, you can use this go to X and Y. Okay, so next, so for the motion, we just drag out the move 10 steps block out of the categories and put it at the center. Okay, later on, of course, I'm going to show you an example about this one. So you can change 10 to 50 by clicking in the black and typing in 50. Okay, if you want to change the number 10, just click on number 10 and change it to any number that you want. Okay, to see your sprite move 50 pixels to the right, just double click on the black in the script area. Okay, so we will do this later after the discussion. All right, so this is the Scratch stage. Okay, that's why I told you earlier, you will also learn here the Cartesian plane. Okay, Cartesian plane, we have the X and the Y axis. Okay, so that's why we have go to X and Y. For example, you want your sprite to be here at the center, so you have to pick go to X 0, Y 0, so that it will be at the center. Okay, so next here I have looks block. Okay, so I have here an example which is say and show. Okay, say hello if you want your Scratch or your sprite to say something on the screen, and show if you want to show your sprite. Okay, so here the sound blocks. So from the name itself, these are the blocks that control the sound. Okay, so there are 13 sound blocks, and these are two examples. Okay, we have play sound and stop all sounds. Okay, so these are the examples. And then for the pen blocks, so pen blocks are the blocks that control the pen. So if you want to draw, okay, drawing using Scratch, we'll be using this pen. Okay, so here are examples for the pen blocks. Okay, we have clear if you want to remove all the pen marks put on the screen, and pen up if you want to put the sprites pen up. Okay, so I have a specific lesson about this, so we will be discussing these pen blocks later on. Okay, and next we have data, which is variable blocks. So variable blocks is or the blocks that holds values and strings. So here are some examples. Okay, we also have a specific lesson about this one, but I'm just showing you some examples so that you'll be familiar with the colors and what the scratch blocks looks like. That's why I'm showing you some examples. Okay, next one, guys, we have the data or the list blocks. Okay, these are some examples. Add thing to list, delete one to list. Okay, and we also have the event. So event blocks, from the name itself, event. So these are the blocks that control the events and the triggering of the scripts. Okay, so here are some examples. So example here is when green flag click. So when the green flag is click, the script will activate. Okay, so later I'm going to show you where you can see that green flag. Okay, and then when key press, okay, it will activate the script. So for example, if you put here space, so when you press the space on your keyboard, the sprite or the code or the script will activate. Okay, next we also have control. Okay, control are the blocks that control the scripts. So here are some examples. You can wait and you can put it in a looping inside forever. Okay, if you want your script to be play forever in a loop, you can put it inside forever. Okay, and we also have sensing blocks. So sensing blocks detect things. Okay, they can detect things. So here are two examples. We have touching and is key space press. Okay, as you can see, we have question mark, right? So it's like a question. So these are the two examples of sensing. So sensing blocks, they are commonly used for gaming. Okay, if you guys will be creating games, then we are going to use these sensing blocks. Okay, and then we have also operators. So operators are for mathematical equation. Okay, this one is like if you want to check if a value is less than the other. Okay, and then this is the value for addition. If you want to add value, you can see the plus sign. So for addition, okay, these are the operators blocks. And then we also have more blocks, but more blocks is used if you want to create or define your own block. Okay, if you want to create your own block, you can use these more blocks. Okay, so those are the categories of Scratch. So now let's make a small program that hover on sprite and say hello world. Okay, so now guys, um, I've discussed the different categories inside the Scratch. So now I will be showing you guys how to start the Scratch. Okay, so let's open a new tab. So you guys can follow what I'll be doing. Okay, so let's open a new tab. So let's say, let's go to google.com. Okay, and you can just type here Scratch. Okay, so type here Scratch on Google, and you will see this very first link, scratch.mit.edu. So click this. Okay, so you can see this one. This is the home page of Scratch. Okay, you see here Scratch. And then if you don't want to type in Google, I already posted in the Google Classroom, guys, the link. You can see this one. This is the link for the Scratch. So you can just click this and this one will open. Okay. So once we are here, okay guys, once you are here, I want you guys to focus here, okay? Everyone, okay, everyone that's listening, I want you to create an account in Scratch, okay? You have to create your account first in Scratch before you can join, okay? So let's start. Follow me, okay? You can follow what I'm doing because you need to create your own account first in Scratch before we can see what's inside, okay? So first, you see this one, join Scratch. So click this, join Scratch. So because we want to join and have our own Scratch account, okay? So let's say username. You can create a username, okay? You can just put your nickname here or any names that you want, okay? So let's say I will put here teacher Justine. Okay, this is my username. And then if you click anywhere, you can see username taken. So this means that this username, somebody is already using this. So you have to change it. You have to add other you have to change names if you want, or you can just type here any number. So let's say 123. Okay, teacher Justin 123. If there's no username taken appears here, that means this is okay. Okay, so I want you to create your username now. Okay, after you create username, you have to create your password. Okay, any password that you want. Okay, so let's say my password will be teacher Justin 123. Okay, let's say that's the same. My username is teacher Justin 123 and my password is teacher Justin 123, and then you can just copy this, okay, and paste it here. Okay, so it's the same. So once you have your username, you have your password, make sure that you will remember your username and your password. Okay, so just go on and click next. Okay, and then after you click next, you will be asked what country do you live in. Okay, so you are in Thailand, so choose Thailand. Okay, so here is Thailand on letter T. So click Thailand. Okay, and then click on next. So when were you born? So let's say I was born um April 1, or I mean April, let's say April 19, 2000. Okay, so next, and then you just check what's your gender. Are you female or male? Okay, so since I am a male, so you can just click next. If you're female, then choose female. Okay, so I'll just choose male here, and then next, and then you will be asked here what's your email. So you can just put here the school email. Okay, I believe all of you already know what is your school email, right? So for example, your student number 19923 at nairong.ac.th, right? This is like your email. So you have to put your school email here. So but for me, I'll just put my own email. So let's say Justine s at nairong.ac.th. Okay, so I will just after this, okay, you can just create your account. Okay, okay, let me just change my email because I already registered my school email, so I'll just use my other email. Okay, so let's say this is my other email. Okay, so after you put your own email here, so click on create your account. Okay, so after you create your account, you will see here, welcome to Scratch, Teacher Justin 123. So you are now logged in. You can start exploring and creating. Okay, so after this, guys, you see this one, when you are here, I want you guys to go to your Gmail. Okay, so create or open a new tab and go to Gmail, open your school email. Okay, the one that you've provided on the Scratch, right? You put your email here, right? For me, I put my own email. So I will open my own email and I want you to go to that email and you can see this one. There will be an email on your account and I want you to confirm your Scratch account, okay? This is very important. So you have to do this. So go to your Gmail now and then find this email. You see no reply and then it says here, confirm your Scratch account. So click this, okay? And then you will see this one, confirm your Scratch account. You just sign up using Teacher Justine. 1, 2, 3. So I will click this one. So you guys should also click this, confirm my account. So click this, confirm my account. So click that. And after you click that, guys, this will open. Okay. After that, you are finished. You already have your Scratch account. Okay. You already have your Scratch account. So I want you to go to the home page of Scratch, like this one. Okay. So once you are here, let's open and look at what Scratch looks like. Okay. So click this create. Okay. Click create. And then you will see here creating a project. Okay, and you will see here, this is what Scratch looks like online. Okay, so on the left side here, you will see we have the different categories. We have motion, looks, sounds, okay, different colors, events, control, sensing, operators, variables, and my blocks. Okay, but since this is our first meeting, I'm just going to show you guys the hello world, okay? So how to say hello world in Scratch, because that is our lesson here, right? Let me see. This one, let's make a small program that says hello world, okay? So we have to do that one. So once you are here, guys, you can follow what I'm doing. So go to looks and just put here, say hello for 2 seconds. Okay, put it here in the middle. Okay, and then the hello, just put here, make it hello world. Okay, and then if you want to try, you can just click here. Okay, click on the block inside. So click this, and you will see the cat here will say hello world for 2 seconds. Okay, if you want it to say hello for longer time, you can change it for, let's say, 10 seconds. So let's click this and you will see the cat will say hello world for 2 seconds. Okay? So that's very simple, right? You can make the cat say hello for 2 seconds. You can also move the cat anywhere you want. Okay? And when you move the cat, you can see here, guys, the x here is negative 131. The y is negative 73. Right? If I move the cat here, go up, you can see the x and y is changing. Okay, meaning this is the position, okay? This is the position where your cat is. So if you change it to x to 0 and y to 0, okay, it will go at the center. Okay, the Scratch will be at the center. Okay, and then if you want to change the size, you can see here size. If you want it to make it bigger, you can make it 150. You see it's getting bigger. If you want it to become smaller, like 50, it becomes smaller. Okay, and we don't we have a lot of different sprites. Okay, not just this cat. Okay, so you see this one, guys. See, this is like a logo of a cat. So if you want to change your sprite, you can just click this. Okay, and then you can choose any sprite that you want. Okay, you see this one, there are moving features here. Okay, but later on, I'm going to discuss this further on other lessons, but this is just the introduction to Scratch. So I'm just showing it to you. Okay. So there are a lot of animations that you can choose here. Okay. So we have animals, people. Okay. And you can also add a picture if you want. You see this one, upload a sprite. If you want to upload your own sprite, okay, you can choose your own picture. All right. So let's say we want to change our sprite. Let's say this Avery. See, we have it here now. So we can now just delete this one, the cat. So let's delete this. Okay. So as you can see, we have Avery here. So as you can see, the background is only white, right? It's only white. So you can change the background, okay? How to change the background? So if you want to change the background, just click on stage here, okay? See, the stage becomes color blue. That means the stage is selected. So if you want to change background or backdrop, click this one, okay? Choose a backdrop. So click this, and you will open different backdrops that you can use in your animation, in your Scratch program. All right, you see, there are a lot of lot of backgrounds that you can use. Okay, so let's say you can use this one in the bedroom. So now Avery, this picture is now inside a bedroom. Okay, it has a background now. Okay, so that is the Scratch, guys. Okay, that's what Scratch means. All right, again, on the left side you will see all the codes. Okay, and you can create a puzzle piece like this one, and then at the center, this is where you will put your code so that your output will play. Okay, and then on the right side you will see the sprite, the picture that you want to be in your that you want to put in your animation, and then the stage if you want to change the background of your Scratch program. Okay, so now guys, that is the discussion about the introduction to Scratch. Okay, so now if you have any questions about the discussion of flowchart and introduction of Scratch, you can ask me in the Google meeting. I'm in the Google meeting right now. So you can turn on your microphone if you have questions, okay? But if you don't have any questions, we will now proceed on the activity, guys. Of course, in every lessons, since this is our first meeting, we just met each other the first time right now. So in all of my classes, every meeting, I will be discussing the lesson. Like this one, I discuss flowchart and I discuss Scratch. So after I discuss Scratch, I will give you an activity. Okay? Every time, I will give you an activity. So now, let's go back to your Google Classroom. Okay? So in your Google Classroom, guys, I have posted an activity. Okay? You see this one, step 5. So after all the discussions, it's time for activity. So open the activity docs, activity 1.1 flowchart. So you can see this here. Okay, so let's open this. And this is your number 1 activity. Okay, this is the first activity. This is about flowchart. Okay, so let's see here. So flowchart activity. So create a flowchart about your daily life activities. So number 1, how to cross the road safely. And number 2, how to do your laundry. Okay? So you have 2 flowchart that needs to be created. Okay? Number 1, how to cross the road. Number 2, how to do your laundry. And here guys, I have an example. Okay? Let's make it bigger. So I have here an example on how to make a tea. Okay? Example, making the tea. So on flowchart, of course, the start should be in the circle. And then the first step, fill the kettle with water. Next step, heat the water. And then I have here a diamond. Has the water boiled? If no, heat the water again. If yes, make the tea and then stop. Finished making the tea. Okay, this is an example. And for your activity, you have to create your flowchart inside this box. Okay, so number one is how to cross the road safely. So there are things that you need to consider on crossing the road safely. Number one, you can use the overpass to cross the road safely. Number two, you can use the zebra lanes or the pedestrian lanes to cross the road safely. And number three, you can also use the stoplight. If red, you have to stop. If green, you can go, right? So those are the three things on how to cross the road safely. So you have to do that and make it a flowchart. Okay, that's number one. Number two is how to do your laundry. Okay, or how do you wash your clothes? Okay, usually you wash your clothes using a washing machine, right? So what are the steps on washing your clothes using a washing machine? So let's say, for example, you put the clothes first, you put the detergent, you put the fabric softener, and then you turn on the washing machine. And then the questions that you can put is the machine finished washing the clothes? If no, wait. If yes, get the clothes out of the washing machine. Okay, so that's just an example answer for number two. Okay, so that is the activity for flowchart activity 1.1. Okay, so now let's go back. I also have, guys, activity 1.2, introduction to scratch. Okay, so I have here, so open this one. So this is your second activity, introduction to scratch. Okay, so the scratch activity here is you have to create, let me just zoom. So you have to create a scratch program that will introduce yourself. Okay, so you have to introduce yourself using scratch, using the say hello. Okay, that I've showed you earlier. So you can use any sprite that you want to use. Okay, so you can see the sample pictures below. So this one, I've created this one. You can see, hello, my name is teacher Justine. I am your computer teacher. Nice to meet you all. So these are screenshots. Okay, these are screenshots from my scratch. Okay, so this is your second activity. You have to introduce yourself. So for example, you have to tell me you can say hello first, and then tell me your name, and then tell me what's your class number, what's your student number, and then how old are you, where do you live. Okay, I want you to introduce yourself using Scratch program. Okay, but before that, I'm going to show it to you guys. Okay, so let me just sign out my stuff, my account, and I'm going to sign in my original account. Okay, all right, so I have here an example for you guys. So this is the example uh, that I've shown you in the activity. So let me see this one, see inside. Okay, so as you can see, this is the program inside my scratch. I just put here when green flag is clicked, and then put this codes together. Okay, so this is the green flag. So if I click this green flag, it will activate the program. So I'm going to show it to you guys. Okay, so if I click this green flag, you see it will say hello, My name is Teacher Justine. I am your computer teacher. Nice to meet you all. And finish. Okay? So that is my example. But for you guys, you have to introduce yourself in the for the activity. Okay? So that is your activity 1.2. Okay? So if you want to take screenshot, if you're using um, Microsoft Windows, so you can just type here snipping tool on the search below on your computer. So click snipping tool, and then if you want to take screenshot of every picture or every thing that your sprite will say, so you can just play and then just click new and then take screenshot like this one. Okay, and then make a copy, this one, click this copy, and then paste it on your activity. Okay, this one, let's say this is your answer, so you can just put your answer here. Okay, like this one, you see, and then put the next picture of your activity in Scratch. Okay guys, so that is your second activity in today's lesson. So again, you have two activities. Okay, so number one is create the flowchart activity or do the flowchart activity. Number two is do the um, Scratch activity. Introduce yourself using Scratch. Okay, so that's it, guys. If you have any questions, you can message me in this Google meeting. Okay, I'll be in the Google meeting. You can turn on your microphone if you have any questions, or you can message me on the message box of the Google meeting. Okay, so that's all, guys. You can start doing your activity now.